Hello, everybody. It's been a while since we have done one of these lives, but we have a new release today, and I'm going to talk with Samantha Macher, who you all know, when she joins. If I can remember, oh, she's here. Wait, Sam, how do I add you? Can you request to be added? Shoot, I'm always so bad at this. Oh, wait. Maybe now I can do it. Okay, wait. It just gave it to me. Hooray. All right. I'm Laura, by the way. Sam's joining. Yay! We did it!
Woohoo! We figured it out.
It's been like so long since I have done one of these. I was like, wait, does she ask or do I ask?
Yeah.
How to get on?
It's always like a minor miracle when I figure out the internet.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an elder millennial now. I'm like, what? The Instagram? It's worse
We're
with
just
TikTok.
Well, TikTok is a whole other. Oh. Hello, how are you?
Good. Very excited to be launching our brand new podcast, which is exciting.
Yay.
Hooray. And the one I kept posting on my story, but like without any context. I'm like, you guys should listen to this as though it were like
a stranger's project.
A stranger's really amazing podcast project. Sorry, I keep like readjusting my
okay, so we should tell people
my best side.
I think both of your sides are your best side, honestly. Just straight on is okay, so the podcast is called St. Mary's School for Children with the Stigmata.
Yes, it sure is. Another like gripping story of love and loss and the stigmata.
Right.
I mean, I guess it's kind of how I'm putting it. I mean, not that I really quite know how it ends yet, but it's a serialized podcast that we cast some cool new actors for, and it'll release how often, Laura? Is it like once every 2 weeks?
Yes, hopefully. That's the goal, is once every 2 weeks. Somebody said, let's go, Sam. Hi, thank you.
Yay, Tony, hi.
Everybody.
Text Bruce, tell him to get on the live feed too.
I don't think you can do more than one person. I wish you could, because I would have like done that for New Girl, like a bunch of people at once. Anyway, what should we talk about? I mean, yeah, if you haven't checked out the podcast, go to like Spotify or Apple or wherever you. It's so weird with podcasts because they're basically at any place. It's like I don't have like one link to tell people. But yeah, make sure you follow and like leave a review because that really helps. I mean, especially remember to follow because then you'll get updated when we have new episodes and stuff. But do you want to talk about like where the project came from since you wrote this? Just as a reminder, this is something you wrote.
Oh yeah, this is something I wrote, so I need to be like more engaged in telling people. So once upon a time, I guess it's probably getting. This is like I feel like a really common theme of our projects where it's like I wrote something like 12 years ago and it's time to rehash it for a new audience. But when I was living back in LA, I guess the original version was written in like 2012. I was trying to think of a cool movie to set at our high school.
Right. Yeah, we should talk about the fact that we've been trying to shoot something at that location forever, really.
Which no longer exists.
Right.
But so Laura and I went to Catholic school together, and that was where we met a bazillion years ago at this point. I think it's getting close to like 20 years ago, and it's freaking me out. Yeah. Anyway, so
like me too, just so you know.
What? No, don't tell me that. That's terrible news. Anyway, so I was trying to come up with a cool idea for like how do we write a story that could be shot at our high school, and I came up with this idea for like a special school for kids with the stigmata, which is if you guys aren't familiar with what that is, it's basically the wounds of Christ. So on like the story is about a bunch of girls. The original story was about a bunch of girls who are all living with this miracle or condition at this one school, and kind of their interactions as they got a new student. And so we developed it a bit with my friends Nancy Dobbs Owen and Heidi Marie Hostetler at the time, I think Australia now. I think she got married. And Laura, obviously, who was on it as well. We did like a couple of staged readings, a couple of drafts, and nothing kind of came from it for a while. But as all of our projects do, the pandemic and things like that have kind of had us thinking a little bit about how we do storytelling. And so a podcast seemed like a good fit for this story at this time. And then revisiting some of the main characters to have them be our age now.
Yeah.
That they're reflecting on their experiences kind of in the context of the pandemic and all the things that have kind of happened around it, and like the isolation that kind of created in their world too.
Right. Yeah. And I think we were talking a little bit about like, how do you adapt something for podcast, and you sort of need like a narrator work.
You definitely need like that kind of framing device. And we're kind of like, the way I'm kind of approaching it as a writer too is think about it a little bit like a radio drama. So we are using like sound effects and different actors playing different roles instead of just like one narrator that's talking throughout. So we do have a lot of cool talent that we've been able to utilize.
We have 5, I think, as of now, right? Voice actors. Pretty cool. It's a good
Laura, who's playing our lead.
Thanks. Yeah, no, I'm actually having a lot of fun with it. I'm having fun editing and finding sound effects, and all that stuff is kind of, I don't know why that sort of relaxes me. Like puts me in a state.
I think it makes sense. It's like a way to create something from like end to end that does like crochet needles. From end to end that's sort of self-contained and fun and has like an immediate result, which is always cool.
Yeah, no, it's been nice. I mean, I think how long ago did we start talking about it? A month?
Yeah.
So it's
ranking them out now.
Put it together, and because know Sam and I worked on a film called To the New Girl. Go see it. It's on Tubi and a lot of other places. ToTheGirl.com. We have a new place we're coming out soon, but I can't talk about it yet. Yes.
I thought that would happen, so.
But I mean, I think after that, I think we're both still like not quite ready to be in a like feature film 4-year extravaganza yet. So this is a nice like way to put something out there without it being like, prohibitive and having to raise $1 million and do all that kind of stuff. So do you want to talk about any of your like inspirations? Like how much of your Catholic schooling inspired this podcast, Samantha?
Oh, surprisingly not a ton. I always joke that I'm like the only person that like both chose and liked Catholic school. So I was like, I liked it. What was everyone's problem? And I'm like, well, that's kind of, I was apparently not traumatized
out in this.
I repressed it, or I was like, I don't know, so like having anxiety and guilt even before then that it didn't impact me that much. So yeah, and I guess in general, I always appreciated kind of the mystical sort of elements of Catholic tradition. So you've got like a lot of saintly figures and candles and incense and like all these sort of, I think that's probably why people revisit that faith tradition over and over and over again as fodder for horror and mystery and things like that, because there is so much of it kind of baked in to its natural sort of habitat.
Have you seen Midnight Mass yet?
No, I'm trying to keep myself from watching it until I've finished writing all 10 episodes of this. I have a tendency to like I know, but there's always stuff that like creeps in, and then I'm like, ooh, but it would be so much cooler if I did it this way. I try and like go a little bit on media blackout when I'm writing to try and prevent myself from not really so much that I'm worried about like stealing content or being like overly inspired, but more like that it'll psych me out of my own process.
Right. Yeah.
If that makes sense.
No, it totally does. So yeah, we were talking the other day when I was writing the press release, and I was like, what category do we think this is? Like, it's like horror or mystery? Because we've got some like gory sort of elements in it. I mean, there's a lot of like talk about blood in this, but I do think it's like more on the mystery side of things. Like if you're picking a genre.
I would say so. Yeah, it's kind of funny. I'm working on episodes 3 and 4 simultaneously at the moment as a writer, and I'm finding it's more like spooky mystery than spooky blood and guts.
Right.
Although I think if you're looking for like something in between, you'll be pleasantly surprised by the outcome.
Good. So definitely a good like Halloween. Like if you want to start listening to it this week, I think it's a fun week to do it because it's nice to feel, festive.
I certainly do. And it's definitely like, I don't know, feel a little bit like standing on the shoulders of giants with like all the great spooky ooky podcasts that have been coming out for the last couple of years. But it's so fun to get into the Halloween spirit and then have it stay all year.
Yeah, I know we were talking about some other holiday things that we might get into with this one.
Yeah. It's funny, I've been like someone on one of the podcasts I listened to is like, well, I hope this podcast has been distracting you from like the terrors that are modern reality. And it was like a ghost story type podcast, and I guess in some ways.
Yeah, just the hell of the last several years,
Yeah.
Just something. You know what else I like about it too is that the episodes are short. Like everything is about running like maybe like between 12 and 15 minutes, right? Which I think is great. It's like an easy, you're not like, it's not a huge time commitment to jump in and listen, which I think is nice because sometimes it's like, oh, it's 2 hours.
Yeah, and then you forget where you were and that kind of thing. I don't have the attention span to write 2-hour-long things anymore, so unless it's an accident. And I guess it will ultimately wind up being like a 2-hour-long altogether. Because we're planning on 10 episodes, and that'll be fun.
Yeah.
So 10, 15-minute episodes. But I listened to it in the car today on Spotify, which was really cool. And it's cool. Like, I was like, wow, it's on like the radio in the car. It's yes. We made it. I'm on Spotify now and Apple Podcasts, right? So.
Oh man, that's fun. Well, I'm excited. I think it's fun to get to the voice actors that we're working with are all really fun, and everybody's also got like a really different voice, which I think is kind of nice. I don't really know what else to say, but I think
it's another all-woman cast and crew.
I know.
On brand.
That's just what we're gonna keep doing.
Certainly keeps things like fun and interesting.
Yeah, well, I'm writing something right now where like there's like really there's one male character, and like the notes I'm always getting are like that like everyone just despises him, which is fine. It's like that's sort of the point, but it's just kind of funny. Like, maybe we're just meant to be working in women issues.
Yeah.
Did you say you're breaking up a little bit?
Oop, I can kind of hear you.
Exactly.
Oh. No, I just said I can live with that.
Yeah. Well,
someone's breaking up.
Anything else? Yeah.
No. Anything you want to talk about? Being the role of Florence?
No, I mean, I think I'm having fun with it, and I like where it's going. I'm excited now, like when I get to read them, when you're writing episodes, I'm excited to like see what's happening next. And yeah, it's super fun. So. Yay.
Cool. If the actors are liking it, that's usually, I love actors, man. If they like your work, there's nothing you can't do.
It was just even like going through the casting process with this and just hearing different people's takes and stuff. It was actually pretty tough to pick.
Yeah, it was a tight tight competition for these roles, so it's been fun. Like everyone puts in so much.
I know, yeah, we're really appreciative, and it's awesome. It's so fun to like play with too, even in editing and stuff, just to like hear their different takes and pick stuff, and it's a good time. But yeah, I hope everybody goes and checks it out and tell your friends. It
Yes.
really helps.
Like and give 5-star reviews and subscribe or follow on your preferred podcast host of choice. And yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll just keep writing till
Whenever.
Till whenever.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, basically.
For like supporting in general and watching To the New Girl and sharing it. And yeah, we're just gonna keep making more stuff, and we appreciate the audience. And yeah, we're gonna have some other fun announcements coming up soon. So yeah, keep your eyes out.
Yeah,
and happy
all good stuff. Yes, happy Halloween. Happy spooky season.
Yay. All right. Thank you, Sam. Have a good time at the
Thanks,
movies
Laura.
tonight.
Woohoo, I'm gonna go see Dune.
So jealous. I need to go.
All right,
I haven't
then we
been
can talk about it.
forever.
Maybe on an Instagram live with everybody else.
Ooh. Fascinating.
All right, y'all.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Mwah. Bye.